In today's video, I'm going to show you our evening and night routine. Me and my 1-year-old son, we spend the evening together. My husband does come home eventually during dinner, but he does not want to be on film, so you probably won't see him. I'll just cut him out or film around him. He's really good at walking around the camera because he doesn't really want to be on film. But I figured I'd start with when we get home from his program and I'm done with my work day. He's usually hungry, so I make him a snack. It's kind of different every single day, but a few times a week we do like a smoothie. I want to make sure he's getting his vegetable and fruit. I know he's definitely getting his fruit throughout the day. He has no problem with that, but like most toddlers, getting vegetables is kind of a very difficult part. So I usually make him some sort of smoothie and always put spinach in, so I know that he is getting that throughout the week. So for today's smoothie, I'm going to do spinach. I have this bag of frozen mango and frozen avocado, which I didn't even know they did this until recently. So if you were unaware as well, this is awesome. They just have this bag. It's all ready, pre-done in these little chunks of avocado. I have been loving this and it's been lasting us a lot longer than buying a whole avocado and trying to use that up. I feel like they go bad pretty quickly. So this has been a great option if you are looking for that. I'm gonna add a banana to it and some water, and I won't have to add any ice because of the frozen fruit that we have here already. So I'll just add that into a blender and mix it all up. He is standing here at my legs, very excited and waiting for me to do this for him because he's hungry, huh bud? All right, so let's get this all in here. Here, you want to eat this part? Here you go. Welcome back to my channel if you are returning. Welcome if you're new. My name is Bridget. I post new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Please consider subscribing. I hope you enjoy seeing what we do on a typical evening. This is a typical evening routine in the month of December. We are in the 12 days before Christmas, so we're doing a few extra fun things to get my son ready and excited for Christmas. So I just added the water from the refrigerator. Now I'll go into a voiceover to do this blending. If you have a toddler who's a picky eater, I highly suggest adding in some kind of smoothie throughout their weekly nutrient intake. My son loves these smoothies. I do a few different variations for him to keep them interesting and get some different nutrients into him throughout the week. This is such a great way to sneak in some spinach and get him those good vitamins and minerals that he needs. And surprisingly, he doesn't mind drinking a green smoothie. I did think we were going to have an issue with that, as if you put something green on his plate, it immediately comes off of his plate. He doesn't let it sit there, and he will not try anything that's green. So I thought for sure he wouldn't drink a green smoothie either, but these he actually really, really loves. I hope you all had a really great week. Leave me in the comments down below what one thing exciting that you did this week, if you had a great week. For us, it was kind of a struggle of a week. We still have these colds, and for me, I just ended up getting a little bit more congested. So if you do hear that in this voiceover, that's just what's going on with my voice. I still am just trying to get over this cold. Hopefully we will. I keep saying I'm very happy that it's happening before Christmas, so hopefully we can all be feeling better and be able to enjoy Christmas. Now I'm going to just tidy up the kitchen a little bit from earlier in the day. I didn't get a chance to get around to this, so I want to get it a little bit straightened out, put things away, make sure the sink is all cleared out so that I can be ready in like the next hour. I'm going to start cooking dinner. I love putting all the Christmas lights on in the living room here. I do this as soon as we go in here, so then as it gets dark, because it gets dark very quickly these days, the lights are all on and we're able to enjoy them as much as we can throughout the evening. During this time, we're also just gonna play. I just hang out with my son and just play whatever he feels like playing. He's into the flowers, which I've mentioned. We play with those a lot. And then he has this little chair and bucket, which you've seen in a couple other videos, that he loves to put on his head, and he always says bye and runs around and plays. It's so cute. So for about the next hour, we're just gonna hang out and play. I didn't film too much of it. For dinner tonight, I'm making an acorn squash with sausage and kale. This is such a delicious recipe. It's pretty easy, can be a little bit time consuming because of the acorn squash, so I do cut a little corner there, and I made the acorn squash. I baked it in the oven on Sunday. I filmed this, I believe, on a Tuesday, so the acorn squash was already cooked and ready for me, so that allowed me a little less time to do some prepping on this night where I could spend some time with my son. Instead, I did all of that on Sunday. So right now I'm going to be using these chicken sausages. We love getting these. There's so many different flavors. You can change up the flavor depending on what you like in this recipe by getting a different flavor of the chicken sausage. I'm just cutting off the ends, and then I take the skin off, and then I'm going to dice it all up so I can cook it in the pan. I'll leave the recipe for this meal in the description box below if you'd like to try it out. I have been making this for years. I started making this back when we lived in our condo, and we've lived in this house for 5 years, and we make it every fall and winter. It is something we really enjoy and has a ton of vegetables, so it's just such a great meal to have during the week. And there's really no carbs or anything. You can easily make this gluten-free. Just use gluten-free breadcrumbs or omit the breadcrumbs altogether. I didn't actually use any breadcrumbs in this day. I'm just adding olive oil to the pan, and I'm going to put the sausage in here and let that cook up. This meal was so easy. It took me about 15 minutes to make. We do have dinner at 5 o'clock. Luca is ready for dinner at 5 o'clock on the dot. He usually walks right to his chair and is ready. The dinner did go, it took me a little bit longer than 5 because I know Luca in this video does come telling me that he's ready for dinner, and when he's ready for dinner, he is ready. I think he is definitely going through a growth spurt. He's been eating really well lately. I grew up eating dinner, I think between 5 and 6, so now I've just gotten so used to eating dinner at 5. Leave a comment down below what time you eat dinner. I think it's so interesting to see such a range that people do eat dinner. My husband grew up eating dinner at like 8 o'clock at night, which is so late for me. I am like an early bird. I honestly go to bed at like 9 at night. Now I'm just washing the kale. The kale was so dirty. I couldn't believe how dirty it was this day. So I'm washing it really good, and then I'm going to take the leaves off of the stems. And I'm just gonna break it up. I kind of did half and half. I broke up half of it with my hands, which honestly is the easier way. It could be a little tough. And then I did chop up to try to make it quicker for myself with the knife, but I think it was going a little faster just breaking it apart here with my hands. Kale can be a little tough, but I love it. Leave a comment down below if you like kale or don't like kale. I feel like that's something that some people really don't like at all. I think you do have to cook it right for it to be good because it can be a little bitter. This recipe is so good. I also really love to make kale chips too. That's a really easy recipe. I used to make that a lot with my niece. She loved those. She would eat like the whole batch. I try to clean as much as I can as I'm cooking. This makes the cleanup at the end a lot less, but sometimes that's easier to do depending on what the recipe entails. This recipe kind of had me doing a bunch of different steps, so I did have quite a few of the dishes that I had to do after we finished eating. Now I'm just going to cut up the garlic. I removed the sausage from the pan. Now I'm adding a little bit more olive oil and I'm going to cook up the garlic and kale. I didn't end up using all of this kale. I thought it was a lot. I know the kale does cook down quite a bit, so I could have added a little bit more, but last time I made this recipe, I definitely added way too much. So I've got to find a good balance of in between not adding too much kale and not adding too little. That can be a little challenging. I really didn't measure out. I know the recipe does have an exact measure of how much kale to use, but that could also be depending on your preference as well. My son was getting very hungry at this point. I'm glad I didn't leave the audio on because he was kind of extra whiny because he was getting super hungry. So I'm just gonna cut him up some grapes, and I did have some macaroni and cheese from the day before still left over. There is butternut squash in the macaroni and cheese as well, and he did just have his smoothie. So he's had a pretty good nutrient intake, but is, like I said, I'm pretty sure going through a growth spurt, so he's getting hungry really quickly these days. So I'm going to just get this ready for him so he can start eating something while I'm finishing up dinner. I didn't fully anticipate him eating the dinner that I made. It's kind of not something a toddler would be interested in. I do put it on his plate. They do say to at least give them the option. You serve the food, they choose what they eat, kind of thing. So I did put some on his plate for him to try. He tried a little bit of the acorn squash, but none of the sausage or kale. So I'm happy about that. He did get some squash for a vegetable and some grapes, and he did also end up having some rice we had too. So like I said earlier, I pre-made the acorn squash on Sunday. I had an acorn squash and a butternut squash that I needed to cook up, so I did both of those on Sunday to save me some time. I just put all the acorn squash in this container so that it'd be ready for when I was going to make this dinner. I added back the sausage into the kale and garlic mixture, and now I'm just going to put it right on top of the squash and eat it just like this. You can add the breadcrumbs if you want to. I could have put it in like a casserole dish and put it in the oven to crisp up the breadcrumbs and the cheese, but I opted not to do this. Made it just a little bit easier, and it was still super delicious. So I highly recommend you give this recipe a try. It is in the description box. We always serve ourselves right from the pans to our bowls. Instead of plating everything up and bringing it to the dinner table, we just do it this way. It's a little bit easier. This is a hack that I have that works really well. If you have a pan like this pan kind of burns really easily. It's old, we've had it for a while. So I always add water as soon as I'm done cooking. It makes it so much easier to clean. But what I was saying is I always package up the food right after we've served ourselves and get it ready to go into the fridge to save me some time later on. Now we've eaten. Luca is down and playing. He plays really well while I clean up and everything, so I'm just going to get all of the dishes from dinner done. I'm just going to take a couple minutes and quickly unload the dishwasher so I can put the couple dishes that I have here in the sink in there, so then we can load it up tomorrow and run it again. Luca is watching The Grinch. He's been really into that movie. I think we've watched it almost every day since the day after Thanksgiving. It's super cute. I think it came out in 2021 if you haven't seen it yet. It's my favorite Grinch that I've seen. The music is really great. The characters are super cute. So if you're looking for a good movie for your kids, a Christmas movie, that one is really cute. So he is just playing and watching that. I don't think he popped his head in any clips here because he just loves that movie, but he plays the whole time he watches, and it works out well so I can get a couple things done quickly after we eat dinner. I can get the kitchen situated for us. My grandmother wraps him 12 books each year for the 12 days before Christmas. He opens one book per night, which is so exciting, and I'm so appreciative that my grandmother does this. He absolutely loves books. So I took one and put it under the tree. This will also help him learn about opening gifts and how to do that. He's almost one. I mean, he's only one, almost two. So this gets him excited, and by the time Christmas Day comes, he'll be more aware of what to do. Happy 2023. Send the mother camel to her child. I love you as much as the desert is dry. Send the mother goose to her child. I love you as much. After we played for a little bit, we go ahead and do his whole night routine, which I couldn't film the whole thing. It was kind of hard to do. He's very busy, so it's very exciting time. So I just wanted to show you a few little clips of him in his cute little Christmas pajamas and his tree. We always come in here and read a couple books before we put him in his crib. And yes, our dog Millie is with us through the whole thing. She just loves all of our little routines and knows exactly what's coming, since we basically do the same things every single night. Luca is in his bed down for the night. He goes down really, really easily. We've really lucked out with setting up a good night routine for him, so we usually don't have any issue at all with him going down for the night. So I'm going to clean up all the toys and give this room a vacuum. I have to vacuum almost every day because of our dog. She sheds like crazy. So I'm going to do that really quick, and I did already get the kitchen all situated, so I didn't have to do that this night. Thankfully, one thing checked off my list a little bit earlier. One of the suggestions I always give is set yourself up with a good night routine so you can have more time with your child, because, you know, between work and school and all those other things and after school activities, our time is super limited. So I try to do things in kind of a routine set up for myself so then I can do them a little bit quicker, have everything still in order, but also give myself as much time as I can with Luca at the end of the day. This time's going to go by so fast, so I try my hardest to make sure I have as much time as possible so I can cherish all these moments, and he is just growing like crazy. I can't believe he's almost 2. It's going to be his birthday before we know it, and we are really looking forward to seeing all his excitement this year for Christmas. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing a glimpse into our nightly routine and a little bit of our holiday traditions for this Christmas season. If you are new, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you join our community. Thank you again for watching.